What's going on, dudes and dudettes? It is Deadbolt here, bringing you some more horror content, and today we got 4 disturbing posts from Reddit, Volume 1. I love these Reddit stories, and I actually recently unironically got a Reddit account, and it's been pretty fun, and it's actually a decent social media platform. I mean, so far, you know, like I'm only following a few subreddits like COD Zombies, God of War, and like a conspiracy theory one. They're pretty interesting. I don't know, like I feel like Instagram and Facebook, there's always arguments in the comments, but I haven't found any that much on Reddit so far. But then again, I'm simply a newbie. But the reason I did make a Reddit account is because of these Reddit videos that I've been watching, you know, like the Reddit storytime videos, you know, like Reddit videos like this, you know, I don't know, I just find them very entertaining to watch. But oh yeah, and the maker of this video is ToxicSkullX, so yeah, be sure to support. But yeah, I want to see what this one's about. Hopefully it's not too dark. I've tried reacting to these videos before, like different ones, and they always take a really dark turn, and I don't really want to put that on the channel because, you know, I don't want to depress you guys. I want to make you guys feel good, you know, liven things up a bit, you know. So let's get into this and let's see how this goes.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be narrating 4 new creepy posts that I found.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Let's Not Meet subreddit. Liking this video and subscribing to my channel helps me a lot.
This is very eerie already and very horrifying, so I think we should get in the mood for this. No homo or no sexual innuendos implied. I'm gonna leave the light on. I'm gonna leave that light on just because I'm too lazy to turn it off. All right, let's do this.
If you've heard these stories, let me know what you thought of them in the comments below. But without further ado, let's dive straight into their experiences.
These are their stories.
That kind of scared the fuck out of me.
When I was 19, I went to get drinks with my female friend after classes, and we ended up staying at a bar close to our university until around 10 p.m., getting pretty drunk. I live in Moscow, and the university where I study is located pretty far away from my house. It takes me about 1.5 hours by public transport to reach it. The friend I was with lived in a dormitory which was much closer, just a 30-minute metro ride away from uni, so we decided I would stay with her until her station and then switch lines to go up north where I live. By that time, there weren't that many people inside the train car, just a few passengers here and there, and a couple of older men sitting directly in front of us. We were both visibly drunk here and there.
Okay, before we get too much into this, I just want to say it must be nice having like a good public transportation system. I feel like Las Vegas, we just have buses, that's all, which, you know, they work. But like you have like places like New York where like almost like very few people actually drive cars, and then you see Las Vegas and like everybody drives a car somewhere, you know. And I feel like, you know, there's Uber now and that like makes it better, but like I feel like it would be cool if Las Vegas had a subway or like a train or something. I feel like that would be really cool.
And a couple of older men sitting directly in front of us. We were both visibly drunk. It was a fun evening, so we joked around and laughed a lot. Then my friend got off, I said goodbye to her, and since alcohol usually makes me sleepy, dozed off immediately after she left.
Must be nice.
The whole time one of the men seated in front of us would silently glance at us from time to time. I assumed he was judging us because we were obviously drunk, but ultimately paid it no mind.
Must be nice. I get freaking dizzy as hell when I get drunk. Like I can't sleep. I'll throw up. Like I'll close my eyes and then like it'll feel like you're just like, oh shit, like I'm falling through space, and I get really nauseous.
I ended up accidentally missing the station where I needed to switch lines, which meant I had to take the train in the opposite direction. As I got up and walked to the door of the train car, there was nothing suspicious, but then I noticed the older, looked like he was in his 50s, man who was staring at me during the whole train ride also get out of the train a couple of seconds after me.
Damn.
Again, I wasn't particularly alarmed at that moment. I try not to jump to conclusions too quickly out of fear that it's just me being paranoid.
Yeah, I
feel.
feel.
It started when the same dude not only followed me out of the train car, but also got on the train going in the opposite direction. He wasn't following me closely. He would stay several meters away and act like he wasn't looking at me. But as soon as I stepped foot on that train, he rushed to the next train car, and once there, slowly moved to stand next to the window from where he could see my car. He simply got off at the same station as me by coincidence. Why would he need to go back in the same direction, and why would he linger back and make sure I got on the train before entering it himself? Still though, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, so I ended up skipping the transfer station.
And he's drunk too, so he's vulnerable.
The one right after that. Again, he exited at the same station and lingered back. I transferred lines. This new station was a transfer too, just another line. If you look at the map of the Moscow Metro, you'll know that there is quite a lot of them next to each other in the city center. And sure enough, he followed me to the station at the new line. Now, I was wondering what to do. I considered looking for Metro employees and informing them of the issue, but couldn't see any. I also considered walking up to some random strangers and asking them for help or pressing the SOS button on the machines installed inside each Metro station if the situation got worse, but I wasn't too terrified just yet. I decided to try and shake him by hiding behind the columns until the next train came and getting inside at the last possible moment. And just as I stepped behind a column, I saw him walk to the center of the station. Before that, he would linger next to the columns by the other side of the platform and look around. What I did next might not have been the smartest move, but I was suddenly very angry at the whole situation. People were still present at the station, and it was clear that this guy was trying not to get noticed. So I purposefully walked right up to him and looked him dead in the eye with all the hatred I felt that moment. He looked taken aback at first, and then tried to act like he was just some random passerby, turned around, walked a bit away from me, and stood there awkwardly while I kept staring right at him. It went on like that until the train arrived, and just like I planned, I got on at the very last second just to make sure he wouldn't run after me, and that was, thankfully, the end of it.
Dude, honestly, if you're gonna commit to just like staring him down, I would have just made a scene. Fuck it. At that point, especially when I'm drunk, but in a situation like that, I feel like it's warranted to just feel like, hey, why do you keep following me? Just give him one of those. Like, just throw your arms up, you know, just be like, you've been following me for like the past, like, I don't know how long this was, like 20 minutes. What's the deal, man? And just like shout it at the top of your lungs. Just act pissed, get all the attention on you and that guy, and he'll fuck off. I guarantee you. My advice, if you're being followed in real life, try to stay in a public area. You know, they're not going to kill you if you stay in a public area. And I heard, and if they like try to take you hostage or something, or be like, hey, follow me, and they have a gun, I heard you're more likely to die if you follow them. But there is also a chance that you'll die if you don't. But I guess it's more likely that you will if you do follow him. So run, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to do in that situation. But and if it's like nighttime and you're still being followed, fuck, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. Carry a gun. There you go. I want to say buy a gun, but concealed carry permits, I forgot what you have to do to get them. I think in Las Vegas you have to like take a class at like a police station to do it, and I'm like, man, that's doing too much. And if you're open carrying like a shotgun on your back, I don't think he's gonna be following you. You know, I think he gets the hint. You know, usually people who try to kidnap or like follow people are going after like weaker individuals, you know, people that they think are weaker. I don't know, I'm not a, you know, safety expert, kidnapping, anti-kidnapping expert, but that's what I'd guess would work. But that's my advice.
I was shaking the whole train ride home and switched lines and stations like 3 more times to make sure he wasn't still following me, but thankfully he seemed to give up. So stay safe and be careful with the people who get off at your train and bus stops.
Yeah.
This happened about 11 months ago when me and my wife got married in June. I'll never be so grateful that I have a habit of locking doors. We're slowly starting to depart as me and my wife Deanna took pictures and chatted with some of the guests who stayed a little longer and were just having a good time. It was a great day and a lot of fond memories were made, but was the least expected is what happened that night as we were on our way to our honeymoon. As me and Deanna said goodbye to the last of the guests at around 9 p.m, we got into the car and headed home. We had our bags packed prior to the wedding day for Cancun and were ready to go. I live in Washington, and we're in a bit of a hurry because instead of flying out from Seattle Airport and SeaTac like normally people do, it was a lot cheaper for us to drive north to Canada and fly out from a Canadian airport. Also, me and my wife thought it'd be fun to have a little road trip to Canada and then fly out from Canada to Cancun.
That does sound pretty cool.
It was only a 3.5-hour drive for us and cheaper, so we headed out at around 12 a.m.
It's not even that much.
We had a great time driving, blasting music, talking about Cancun, and just being excited about the new chapter in our life. Deanna slowly started to fall asleep, being exhausted from the wedding and whatnot. We were halfway to Canada. At this point, we were no longer in city area, but more of a wooded area with fewer cars and fewer people the more we drove, practically seeing no one on the road. By that time, it was around 3 a.m. We had some extra time on our hands and I was starting to fall asleep too, so I pulled over to a gas station to get some Red Bull to keep me awake. I pulled into the gas station that was completely empty and parked the car to see Deanna asleep. I told her I'm taking the keys and locking her inside and that I'd be right back. Not sure if she could hear me, but she kind of motioned her hand around like people normally do when they're too tired to care.
That's
I came
sketchy.
back around 6 minutes later.
Gas
found my wife
stations,
shaking
they
and
can be
crying, and I
dangerous.
was confused and freaking out a bit because I wasn't really sure why she was crying. She couldn't even get words out first. Later, once she calmed down, she told me this. Apparently she did hear me when I told her I'd take the keys and be right back. And as she was sleeping, she was awoken by a tapping on the driver's side window. Being too tired to get up or even open her eyes, she lazily went for the unlock button or the passenger side of the door. As she was going for it, she froze. A thought passed her mind, then she remembered. Didn't he say he had the keys?
Shit.
Why would he need me to unlock the door for him? That's when she heard a woman's voice mumbling from the driver's side. She turned herself around to look at the window and saw a woman. Long black hair with wide eyes and a crooked smile on her face.
Oh
She
no.
couldn't hear what she was saying at first, but then she heard about what she was saying. She kept repeating in a mumbled tone, "Are you tired?" over and over. She freaked out and told the woman to leave her alone. The woman laughed and told my wife that she was tired too. The woman never took her eyes off her and tried the door handle. At this point, my wife was close to tears and attempted to call me, but as she did, she
Yeah.
heard what sounded like a phone buzz and realized I left my phone in the car.
Oh
Out of
no.
options, my wife started to honk the horn, trying to scare off the woman, while also maybe getting my attention. The woman still had her gaze on her and started mumbling more while laughing and trying the door handle again. Then she mentioned something about someone named Sarah, and asked my wife if she knew her. After a few more minutes of mumbling, she left. To
What
my
the
wife's
heck?
words, the minute she left, I came out of the gas station, so my wife broke down. I don't know how I didn't hear the honking in the car, and I still feel bad for leaving my phone in the car. My wife also added that one of the creepier things about the woman is she didn't look homeless or dirty or anything. In fact, she seemed normal and well kept. My wife said she'll never forget the woman's wide eyes and the gaze she had on her with that smile. It also chills me to think what would have happened if my wife never realized that I had the keys, or if she never heard me about locking her inside and opened the door while she faced the other way. I don't know what those women's intentions were, but if I couldn't hear the honk of the horn, I probably wouldn't have been able to hear screams.
Dude,
To this
that's
day, I'm
creepy.
thankful
What the
I have a
hell?
good habit
Where
of
did she
locking
come from?
doors, and I recommend it no matter how long you're going to be gone.
You think maybe she was like an employee that got pissed and she just like snapped, went crazy? That's what that, like, maybe from watching these Reddit stories. I watched the one where like how people got fired, and there's a lot of mental instability cases like that. Or maybe it was a customer or something. They said the parking lot was empty. I don't know. Or maybe there was a cult in the forest. Either way, I hear that gas stations and truck stops are known for like a lot of oh my god, I look so dark. I didn't notice I looked that dark. Here, let me get a little closer. I know that gas stations and truck stops are usually like a hot spot for crimes of various types, you know, break-ins, stuff like that. So I don't know if I'd be able to leave. I mean, in his defense, he was like saying, oh, he's just going to be in and out, you know, like he just needed a Red Bull or whatever he said, something to keep him up and then, you know, move on. But man, I don't know. What kind of store was it? Because every gas station I've seen, like when you park in the front, you could see the car from there. But who knows? Maybe she was just, maybe she wasn't even real. Maybe she was just the spirit of the gas station that came to creep out his wife for some reason. I don't know.
To preface this, my family had a house that was fairly secluded. We had 2 neighbors close by, but past that we didn't have anyone else within walking distance. I'll try to condense this as much as possible, but the story came
Hey,
up while at a
no
funeral.
nose complaints,
This happened
that's
several
cool.
years ago, maybe 14 or 15
But then again,
years. Anyway,
that could
I was
be
home
bad.
alone, which wasn't rare. Typically when staying home alone, I'd play video games or watch a movie, which we had in the basement, and you really wouldn't be able to tell anyone was home unless you knew someone was there. I remember hearing noises that sounded like they were on our outside, non-enclosed patio, but I brushed it off as tree branches, animals, and things like that would frequently fall onto the patio and make noise. It used to send red flags off of my head when I was younger, but I kinda grew numb to it over the years. But I continued playing video games, and every once in a while I'd hear a soft thump or thud on the outside patio. At one point I went upstairs to get food, and the basement came into the kitchen. The kitchen had a door that we kept locked, not the best lock in the world, that went into the enclosed patio that we locked with a stronger lock, and the enclosed patio led to the non-enclosed patio which anyone can just walk into. Anyway, I was walking to the kitchen to get food or drink or whatever, and glanced out onto the enclosed patio. I just naturally do it, as when my parents are home, they normally sit out there and take in nature, and had to literally back up and look again. When I glanced over, I kind of checked out to the fact that there was a guy, had longer hair, looked a little worse for wear, and he was on the inside of the enclosed patio. I backed up to look at him, and he kind of was looking around the patio when he noticed I was watching him from the inside of the house. He looked a little shocked at first, but then he walked over to the door and knelt down in front of it. He looked creepy, but he talked extremely nice and polite. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like, "Hey, don't worry. Your mom wanted me to come by and check on you." And I remember he used my mom and dad's name too. But my red flags were flying because my mom always
That's
had
what
a
I would
way
do.
to be the
Or call 911
person. He was a retired cop and worked from home, so he was always around. I more or less told him I definitely wasn't opening the door and that I was going to call my mom. I was more bluffing
that's
because
smart.
I didn't have a cell phone.
Gosh,
they weren't the most popular things for kids to have several years ago, and I knew that he'd more than likely be able to open the door regardless of whether I attempted to block it or not. The door had a really pathetic lock, and even I could open it if it was locked, but the enclosed patio had a real lock and was the more protective lock to deter people. He didn't seem too fazed by my threat to call my parents, and I couldn't leave to get the phone because I felt like as long as I had my eyes on him, he wouldn't come in or bother trying the door. But after what felt like an hour of just looking at each other through the door, he got up and walked away. I remember watching him leave around the side of the house, to the front and down the driveway.
He said, "Hey, don't worry, your mom wanted to come check on you." Well, just be like, "Hey, I'm fine, you can leave now." You know, and if he stays there, then he's sus, and then you have the right to call the cops. You know, I feel like that's the correct course of action. Like, if you just came to check on him and he's standing right there eating, you know, whatever dino nuggies, then all right, he looks fine to me. Well, you don't need to come into the house to check to see if somebody's okay if they're at the glass door, I feel. So, but this reminds me of back when I got left home alone. It was so nice. I did exactly what he did. I would either watch anime in the living room, which, you know, I didn't really watch TV in the living room, so that was different. And I would play video games. Oh, it was so nice. Eat junk food, order DoorDash. Oh my god. Back when I couldn't drive. Dude, it was the best. Alrighty.
I never saw him again and immediately called my neighbor and parents once he was out of sight. My neighbor was there in less than 2 minutes and he called the police on the way over. My mom came home a little while after that and we found out the guy had somehow broke the lock to the enclosed patio with sticks/tools that he found outside or had on him. They found out he knew my mom and dad's name by going through the mailbox prior to trying to enter. I just hope that the man doesn't try to come back.
Yeah, that's what my mom always said. Don't open the door for anybody. Even me, because she would be like, "Yeah, I have the key. I don't need you to open the door. So don't open the door for anybody." And I'm going to teach my future kids that too. Because, nah, man, screw that.
This happened when I was a sophomore in high school. I used to take a private bus to school and back. However, when it came to dropping me off home, I was always the last one because I lived a little bit outside of my school district. On one particular day, I got off the bus that would park behind the school's field in the back and started walking towards this adjacent parking lot. The school is located in front of a very busy street that was connected to the highway, and in front of the school there was a mall. I always wore headphones to avoid the noise of the busy street while I was walking home. When I got to the other parking lot, a small white car had pulled up and the guy inside it started calling out to me. I usually ignore everyone that tries to talk to me while I'm walking home, but I accidentally made eye contact, so I decided to see what he wanted.
I feels when you when somebody's calling you and you know it and you try to ignore them, and then you accidentally make eye contact, and it's like, oh fuck, god damn it, you know. It's like the worst feeling ever. Like, now I have to engage. What do you want? You know. But I heard another thing. If you're walking alone on the street, never be on your phone and never have your headphones in, because that's how like muggers try to target you, since you're unaware they could get the jump on you. Like in today's age, when like people aren't really carrying cash, I don't really see the point in stealing wallets anymore. I would say, if you're gonna steal, so like I like how I'm giving advice to both muggers and their victims. I'm like, hey, if you don't want to be mugged, try to be attentive, you know, to put your phone away, you know, be aware of your surroundings. And then I'm like, for you muggers out there, you know, I'd go for the phone, because that's what's worth the most money in today's age. I mean, the only people who still carry cash, I feel, are like older people. So I guess if you want to go for them. But if you're targeting a younger person, I would say the phone. You know, I don't even know the last time I had cash in my wallet was. Actually, I think I have $1 in my wallet. And you know, with online banking now, you could just turn off your cards, and well, I guess I have to replace my IDs now, and that's a bit of a pain. But and you took my Dave and Buster's play card, but you know, I could just buy a new one. But I don't know, that's just my thinking.
But looking back, the man was acting very strange. He was sort of jumpy and sweaty. His car was old and he had a mess inside. In his passenger seat was a woman who looked annoyed or angry. I assumed they were just hot because it was nearly 90 degrees outside. He was asking me if I knew where the mall was. Now the mall is across the street, but there was a few shops independent of it that you had to go around. It's still visible to the naked eye though. I told him yeah, just go straight from behind the school, make a right, cross the busy street, then make a right at the mall. He was acting like he didn't understand what I was saying and asked if he knew Spanish. So I explained in Spanish. Again, he pretended he didn't understand, so he asked if I could get inside his car and take him to the mall.
Oh no.
To drop me off home. In my stupid mind at the time, all I thought was this guy was really annoying because you can literally see the mall from here.
Yeah, that's
I was also
stupid.
thinking that maybe I should take the ride home since I really didn't want to walk home in that heat. However, something inside me was telling no, don't get into this man's car. He kept trying to convince me, and the more he talked, the more nervous he got. Behind me there was another car stationed next to a tree. Sometimes parents would wait for their kids a couple minutes before school was over. There was a woman in the car with her window down, just glaring at the guy. The guy kept looking behind me and at her. After rejecting him politely for the millionth time, he finally said okay, thank you, and sped off. I thought what a weird guy and that maybe he's not from here, which is why streets are confusing to him. The lady behind me said, be careful who you talk to. I looked and awkwardly smiled and said yes, thanks. On my way home, all I felt was annoyance. At the guy for interrupting me while I was walking home, and the lady for talking to me as if I didn't know about stranger danger. Years later, I realized that the man was trying to kidnap me. He was trying to get me inside his car, and the lady behind me staring at him was making him very nervous. The passenger woman was probably there to get kids' confidence, but she was probably annoyed that she had to be there. Maybe she didn't want to be there, I don't know. It honestly gives me chills to think they went to his school to try to pick up children. I wonder who else they tried talking to. There's parents and security around, which is why I didn't see him as a threat at first. But if it weren't for my gut feeling, I could have easily gotten into his car and disappeared. Also, that lady's presence really scared him off. I just hope that I never have to see that van in the future. Alright.
It was a van too?
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did,
that's even more sus.
Like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you thought of these stories in the comments below. But as always,
have a nice day. Thank you very much.
But honestly, in that situation, I would also do the whole cause the scene thing. Like, hey, leave me alone, you dirtbag. I mean, I get he was probably polite and you don't want to really do that. But if I would say after like the 5th time you tell somebody, hey, it's right there. And if you could see them all, like, it's right there. Why are you asking me directions for this thing we can see? You know, that's like asking somebody in Las Vegas, how do I get to the stratosphere? You can be in Henderson and still see the stratosphere. Just drive in that direction. Like, everybody, I mean, maybe it's because I grew up in Vegas, but like I use the stratosphere to figure out my way around town if I'm lost. I'm like, oh, we're on this side. I think we got to go this way, you know, or, you know, that way to get to there. Like, it's a landmark here. Like, how do you get lost? I would understand like being, you know, around the area, but like, you know, a lot of the houses look the same in Vegas. You know, it's the people think, oh, the Las Vegas, the Strip. No, it's like every suburban area you've ever seen except for like the hood, you know. But yeah, it's like, just be like, hey, I already told you the mall is right there. You take a left, you go straight, you take a left and whatever. Leave me alone. And if they're like, if I didn't know that they were in a van, no. Van is stranger danger immediately. But that was a good video, and luckily it wasn't too dark, so I do think I will be posting this. Like, nobody died, nobody got molested, thank God. But be sure to support the original creator. I like this wallpaper, by the way. This is really cool. I like the vibes I'm getting from this channel. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would, we greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face, baby I don't need